Our students are now picked by the frequent shutdown of universities due to incessant strikes by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities. To vent their anger, members of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, staged nationwide protests, calling for immediate negotiations between the federal government and ASUU to end the strike. Well, now the angry students also took the protest to Abuja, where they barricaded the entrance to the Federal Ministry of Education. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education, Adamu, staged a walkout from the meeting between him and leaders of NANS. And the visibly angry minister said he was disappointed with the students, adding that the government has done what is expected of it. Let's share the story of the protest with you.
February 14th was an unpleasant day for Nigerian students after the Academic Staff Union of Universities announced a one-month warning strike for the federal government to honor the agreement reached with the union. The National Association of Nigerian Students had threatened to stage a nationwide protest should the federal government and ASUU fails to resolve their crisis amicably and ensure a lasting solution to continuous strikes. Today, it is carrying out its threat as it staged a protest in several states of the country. Students carried placards with different descriptions, singing solidarity songs to drive home their demands. They lamented that they have been the major victims of the irresolvable crisis between ASUU and the federal government since 2009.
I don't know what they have been able to discuss with the federal government, but what we are saying is that it doesn't concern us. We want to go back to our various classes. We want to go back to our various classes.
Yeah. The situation that we are going to school for 2 to 3 months and we go for a strike. This thing is affecting us, it's affecting on our years. We go to university to spend 4 years, but you end up spending 7 years.
And in the nation's capital, the national body took its protest from the Unity Fountain to the National Assembly and to the Ministry of Education.
Standing on nothing.
They were received by the Minister of Education, but the encounter did not end well. The minister was visibly displeased with questions thrown at him by the student and staged a walkout.
By the time the strike started up to this moment, what is it that the government has not done? So instead of coming here, you should have addressed your lecturers there. Perhaps the only point that you made that is worthy of even attention is you said students should be involved in this, and I think probably this is a very good thing. And it is the only thing I'm going to take out of what you have said here. Thank you very much.
Solidarity.
For the students, the action of the minister shows that the government is not serious about changing the face of education in the country. The students had lost several months of academic pursuits, sitting at home due to COVID-19 pandemic. The students are also calling for the sack of the minister, as this action, they say, portray that the government is not serious in changing the face of education in the country. Helen Osamede Akins, TVC News, Abuja.
Welcome back. Well, Asuko, a while before the program, while the report was going on, you said we really have a problem. Indeed, we have a problem.
No, we have a very, very big problem, in this country. This is the Minister of Education that, I think this is even the first time that I'm even hearing him talking, and working out on students who want the best for themselves. Everybody is going to school for them to get educated, for them to also become ministers at some point.
True.
And there is no nation in this world that does not depend on education. Esther, you see Ukraine that is having problem. They put high premium on education. And that is why you see so many Nigerians
students,
are in Ukraine learning.
Medical students.
Exactly, Esther. At least we spoke with a couple of them in the course of this war. There is even one that is saying he's not coming back to Nigeria. He's still there.
Excuse me.
Yes, he said he's there. He's not coming to Nigeria because he's learning. Because he knows that if he leaves Ukraine and comes back to Nigeria, there's a time frame for him to return back to school. And if he does not, if he misses that, then he has forfeited his education. That is because they put high premium on education. And so if these students are protesting, and I thought they were even going to carry placard inside the hall, but they were not there. They went there, they asked relevant question. Even definitely the minister is supposed to know that there is anybody that is angry will throw anything or any question at you. So it was supposed, even if they say, oh, but your children are not going to school in Nigeria, the simplest thing would say, oh, I think I don't like that what you said, but we are going to address your matter. And the matter that they are addressing is since when? It's been lingering since, Esther, I can tell you that ASUU's problem has been lingering since 1999. Because I know that even when I was in school, I encountered strike. This same strike over is either going to be salary or for universities to be refurbished or whatever. So if, for instance, that thing has been, the issue and the matter has been lingering, and then the Minister of Labour has even intervened at some point, I think the Minister of Education is supposed to sit down and hear them out. We are talking about education. He is like the father of those students. Because he's the Minister of Education, for crying out loud. You are supposed to listen to them. Because if the minister does not listen to these students, is it the Vice Chancellor that will listen to them? Because by the time they carry placard and go and meet the Vice Chancellor, he will say, even your minister, that is what he will say, my Oga, the minister, they don't even attend to you. Is it me that will attend to? That is how this thing cascades. And so we must begin to think that way. It's not about just working out on them. He has not solved the problem. The problem is still there. Esther, there is so many things that if we start now to begin to analyze the issues between why strike and how it affects students, you will weep for Nigeria. You will weep for our future, because we are talking about our future.
Right.
Because one, Esther, if you are in school, you are like, you enter the university at 24 or 22, depending on, the number of years. Now they've said that you have to reduce maybe to 18. If you enter at 18, Esther at 20, say by 20, at the age of 25, you are not even out of school because of strike. By the time ASUU will go to strike 1 month, they will now say, okay, fine, they want to go to another 3 months. By the time you are out at 27, you want to look for a job in Nigeria. They will tell you the minimum age is 25. How do you get a job?
You can't make up.
How do you get a job? You can't. So these are some of the things that the minister is supposed to realize as, okay, these people genuinely, they came to you for you to address this matter about ASUU going to strike. It's simple. You just have to talk to them. We need to get to a point whereby students will need to be respected. Because we are paying. I'm also affected one way or the other.
Yeah. I'm
affected because I know that I'm having a master's degree program in Unilag. I've been there since, but they've not finished. Because my supervisor is telling me, oh no, that it's after the strike. That is when they will attend to me. So what do I do?
You keep paying.
I will keep waiting.
Go to Ukraine.
I pretend I didn't hear that. but BC, it can be a laughing matter, but yet it's a serious one, because it's something that we need to talk about. It's becoming like a recurring decimal, where ASUU and the federal government is at loggerheads, and the students get to suffer in the midst of all this. What's your assessment with the way things are being handled from 1999 till present?
First of all, let me say I want to commend the students, the NANS this time around, for actually taking their protest to the doorstep of the Minister of Education. In the past, they've always threatened to protest, and nothing happened. But this time around, they actually took their destiny into their own hands and went to see the minister. And from the way the minister responded, you can have an idea of what has been happening and why we are having problems in our education sector. The minister, his reaction is like he was even doing the students a favor by sitting down with them in the first instance, which can also translate to the fact that if you look at the ASUU federal government negotiation, we can then infer that whoever is in charge on government side thinks they are probably doing ASUU or the entire nation or the education sector a favor by even sitting down to negotiate with them in the first instance. And that is probably why since 2001 that they've been talking about this, their negotiation and with federal government, nothing concrete has been done. You'll find out that, okay, in 2009, the federal government signed an agreement with the union. The federal government signed this agreement and it has not fulfilled the agreement. This is the agreement that ASUU has been talking about since 2009. Successive governments
has come and gone.
You know, it shows that there is little interest
or commitment.
No commitment.
Political will.
Yes, no political will to actually do anything. And if you ask me, why was the minister angry? Because the students said your own child schooled in the UK.
Yes.
And he became angry.
There's nothing bad.
He became angry. I am not sure if the minister's child schooled in UK. I'm not aware. But I know that there is one Adamu Rashid who happens to be the executive secretary of the National Universities Commission, whose child did his PhD in engineering in a UK university, which people complained about. Maybe the students were missing up that particular Adamu with the ministers, and probably that was why he got angry. But then, it is not a big deal. Your child schooled in UK or does not school in UK, you could have simply told them that all my children schooled in Nigeria. And Adamu cannot even tell me that his children schooled in Nigeria. In any case, he has to come out to say that. You get it? He has to come out to say that. So why should you be angry that students come to you and you just walk out on them? So it shows that you don't care for them. You don't care. These are students that missed a whole academic session in 2021. 2020. Yeah, they missed a whole academic section, and this is a minister that didn't even come out to utter a word. I love what ASUU said, that this is the first time. Personally, I cover education. Education is my special area. This is the first time I am seeing this minister of education publicly talking about education, and look at what he did. It shows you the kind. He's a god. He is a god. The rest of us, we are, I can't even say we are slaves. These students are nothing in the eyes of these people. The minister didn't do well at all. I think he needs to do something to correct his action, if it is possible for him.
And what would you think that should be?
I think he should just come out plainly to apologize to the students and to Nigerians about his conduct during that meeting, and then tell them what the federal government is doing on this ASUU strike, and reassure them that everything will be fine, and that they will ensure that before the end of the 4 weeks ultimatum given by ASUU, that the federal government will reach an agreement with the union, and that these students will go back to school and be fine. See, you are talking about students in Nigerian students in Ukraine. I saw a video before I came here today of these students pleading with government. You needed to see them. All of them, they are at the border of Ukraine now, but there is no bus available to even convey them to Poland or anywhere. That's why they promised that the federal government said they will make available buses to them. Maybe the buses are still on their way, but these children are not also finding it funny. For a student to tell you that would rather stay back in a war zone than come back to Nigeria shows you that the thing down here is, it does. I don't know how many times that students must have been jammed.
Yes, now by jam.
By jam.
All right, let's go take this call. I have Prince calling right here in Lagos. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, yes, ma'am. You see what Adamu has just done now, what we are seeing, that is what the people in government are now doing. Do they think they have become king god because they are ministers? And besides, does it mean that these students, they don't have right to protest? She should tell her you're supposed to be a responsible and responsive minister. Is that the way they will address our education? If somebody that's supposed to be in the university for 4 years is spending 7 years, does he not have right to complain? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, the president should see the kind of people he has appointed as ministers.
All right, thank you very much for your points taken there. I appreciate your contribution on the show. Asuko, yes, indeed, it can be worrying, I would say, because when you're talking about students who have to stay longer than expected 4 years, and they stay longer than that, and they want to know what the future is like for them. So what do you think the government should do, perhaps the federal government now, to address this situation? Because it's becoming like a recurring decimal where ASUU and federal government are loggerheads, and the children, or the students rather, get to suffer for this. So they don't know where the future of what the future looks like for them. So what do you think the government needs to do if it is to handle this situation holistically?
I think the government knows, they know what to do.
Because
ASUU, the thing is, ASUU has been talking about, okay, let's look at this thing once and for all. There's not, see, the people in ASUU, the members of ASUU, they are professors. They also want the best for students.
They even have their children.
They have their children. Most of them have children in schools, in either federal universities or even private. Before I go back, there is nothing stopping the minister from saying, oh, I have a daughter in the UK. Fine. Anybody who has money can send his child or ward to any school, either local or international. But if they even throw it at you, that is why, oh yes, I have the money to send my child there. We don't even know if the child is even doing a PhD, because you can do a PhD outside Nigeria. If you want, even if it is a master's, provided he has the money, that is what the minister is supposed to say, rather than walking out on the student.
All right, point taken there. Let's... Okay.
Okay, you have to get...
Yeah, what to take the last position on this. Final thought.
So my final thought is the federal government should go back to the negotiation table or the agreement table, not even because there's no point negotiating, because ASUU has been negotiating and talking about it. If they need to cut, because they've been saying they want to pay the money in bits and pieces, let them do it and fulfill. Say our federal government, they have fond of either always making promises that they will not fulfill. So they have to fulfill this promise, because we are talking about the future of Nigeria.
Students, absolutely. So, final thoughts on this, BC?
Yeah, let them just fulfill the agreement they have with the union, because as it is now, I doubt if the union will go back to class without the government doing its own part this time around. So, I think even if government does not provide all the money that is required, if it shows commitment and seriousness, I think ASUU will go back to class. So government should just
do the needful.
They are not that bad that they won't, listen to government.
All right, and that's